On the back of Labour announcing very quietly and surreptitiously, many of us would say, yesterday they were dropping plans for rape gang inquiries. Still it says grooming gangs. It's not in my mind right. I wanted to speak to Marlon West. He's the father of a grooming, well, rape gang victim. Marlon, welcome to Drive. How are you?
Hi.
There's so much I want to say and there's so much I want to ask, but tell us your story. It was about your daughter, Scarlett, my friend, in your own words, in your own time.
So Scarlett was groomed from about 14 in the Manchester area. She finished up going into care because, as embarrassing as it sounds, I just couldn't keep her safe. The groomers would come into the house all the time. She went into care for a short time, and then when she came back when she was about 16, the grooming started literally straight away, and it was worse than it had ever been. She'd been trafficked to Bradford, Birmingham, all over the country.
She was ferried around the north of England by grooming gangs, drugged. I mean, I'm saying this to a father, man, in total respect, and drugged and used for sex.
Yes.
You said to me that the grooming gangs came to the house. Why didn't you phone the police and get them arrested, or did you?
I rang the police numerous times, hundreds of times. I'd ring the police when she went missing because she was still a minor. Majority of the time, they wouldn't even turn up. I went to strap meetings with the police. One of the missing from home officers sat having a cup of tea with one of the groomers and texted me and said, "Your daughter's fine, she's with blah, blah, blah."
Jesus Christ.
They did nothing.
Why do you think that is?
I think because she was seen as a missing from home child, she was a problem to the police, not recognising what the actual problem was.
Did she know what was happening to her, Marlon? Did she understand?
No, she didn't. She does now. She's 20 years old now. It only stopped 2 years ago when she was 18. She has a better understanding now, but not at the time, no.
So much I want to ask. How is she now? Traumatised? PTSD?
She's traumatised, complex PTSD, getting very little support. She's been waiting for mental health services for 2 years. I tried paying for private psychology, and it's expensive. I couldn't continue with it forever.
So admire you for coming on. Let's just go back a minute. Yesterday in the middle of Drive, because I think it's really easy as a parent. I mean, I've done it. You go, why didn't I do that? That's not what this is about. This is about trying to, in our small little way, understand how this totally abhorrent government can yesterday, 45 minutes before the recess for Easter, announce that it's dropping plans into, in its own words, 5 initial local inquiries. Now, in January, we had the big furore. It was going to, well, everybody was calling for an independent national inquiry. Of course there should be, because these girls, their lives have been blighted. There are girls still being raped. I remember with Rotherham, and I'm not, you know, people say to me, oh, you're inciting. No, I'm not. In Rotherham, the police said it took us 8 years because we didn't want to upset a certain section of society. It was British Pakistani men. We thought that would cause problems, so we had to tread carefully. Where I come from, I don't know about you, Marlon, you break the law, you break the freaking law, you go to prison, you deal with the crime. But if you're talking about police won't do anything, social services aren't interested, you're fighting this losing battle. Total respect to you for coming on. When you heard that yesterday from Jess Phillips, the self-styled I stick up for women, what does that do to your gut at that moment?
It destroyed me. My stomach turned. I've met with Jess. I met once at Westminster, and I met her a month ago in Manchester. I feel absolutely manipulated, not by just Jess, but the Labour Party.
Did you believe? See, I'm really mystified by Jess. Somebody said just now that you could see with her body language in Parliament yesterday she didn't want to do it. Well, resign on principle then, Jess Phillips, because you're better than that, or maybe you're not, because if you don't, people will look at it and go, This is appalling. When today, Bud, Sir Trevor Phillips, who's not known for speaking out of line, not forcefully, the ex-head, imagine being the chair of the Equality and Human Rights Commission. He today described this as shameful and said that this is so obviously political. Even Sir Trevor Phillips thinks that this is the Labour Party trying to avoid alienating the Muslim vote. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I think one of the reasons why they've done it is we've got local elections coming up across the country. I'd be interested
we can't talk about the elections. I have to make that point. There's a reason, but you must feel let down by the government. Who did they promise you when you met Jess Phillips? Were you promised that they would do stuff?
I was reassured. I've been campaigning now for 2 years for a statutory national inquiry. I wasn't overjoyed with them doing 5 areas because it's just a post-local lottery. But it was
and I don't think they should mark their own homework, to coin a better phrase. I think it should be absolutely independent, because if they do it themselves, they're going to make it's like the Metropolitan Police looking into Wayne Couzens. What a joke that was.
Yeah.
I can't, probably because I've got teenage kids, daughters, I can't understand how anybody cannot hear your story in government and not be, we've got to do something about this. We're talking about real people and real lives.
Yeah, and Jess Phillips has been around the country. I speak to a lot of survivors and a lot of families, going around the country, meeting survivors over the last month, and she's listened to their story. It's just heartless.
What do you want? An international? You want an independent national inquiry? That's what you want.
Statutory. So yeah, I don't want an independent. I want a statutory. The reason for that is.
What is statutory? What's the difference? Tell me.
So independent. I'll give a really good example. The one what Andy Burnham's done, which is the Operation Spam Review. GMP. Great Manchester Police, a lot of them police officers have refused to be interviewed or give evidence, which legally they can do. With a statutory,
you have to.
It's more of a court setting. You have to. You cannot refuse.
I mean, is it? I ask you the other question that I have to ask carefully, because people again get upset. If you've got a government that's not prepared to face up to this for political reasons, it seems, or maybe it goes higher and there's a cover-up, if you've got victims and their families fighting, what would help this enormously? I want to make this point. There are millions of Muslims in this country and more millions across the world who would find this behaviour as abhorrent as you and Scarlett's father did.
Yeah.
Why the bloody hell don't the leaders of Muslims in this country speak up about how abhorrent this abuse has been?
It's beyond me. It's beyond me. The example with Scarlet, 99% were Muslim men. They weren't all Pakistani heritage. There was other ethnic communities involved, but they were all Muslim men.
Where do you go from here as a father? What's it done to you?
Over the period of time, I've been on antidepressants. It's made me really unwell. I've
question yourself?
Of course, every time. The guilt even now. And I shouldn't do, but the guilt now.
She knows you love her, right? She knows you love her. She knows you were there. You can't listen. If you're fighting, if the people that are supposed to deal with this can't even be asked to help you, or too scared, or they have hands. I patently feel on a daily basis I'm living in a country that I'm not very proud of anymore, Marlon.
No, I'm definitely not proud of this country.
Will you be writing to Jess Phillips?
I won't be having any more meetings with any more MPs from Labour after yesterday, because there's no point. And
I wonder how Jess Phillips feels if she could listen to this, because Jess Phillips is the woman who I know cares about victims. Not from yesterday, you don't, Jess. You've lost a big supporter whose daughter was repeatedly ferried around the north of England by grooming gangs, drugged and used for sex. You've let him down, Jess Phillips. That's a fact. Listen, there's not an awful lot talk can do save tell the story, pal, but we're always...
Thank you.
We'll always fight, because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. We seem to allow people to stay in this country and come to this country who are and shouldn't be here, and yet our own are being abused and set upon, and we do nothing about that either. Beyond me. Marlon, thank you, buddy. Keep it talk, all right?
Thank you.
Really good to have you on. Marlon West, father of grooming gang victim, his daughter Scarlett.